Well, hi there, friends. Good Friday morning to you all. Thanks so much for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. Well, hey, let's start things off with a look at your weather forecast because, my goodness, it's feeling a little bit chilly this morning. And we've been saying this, it never fails. By Halloween in the inland Northwest, It always gets cold. So I know there's a lot of parties happening this weekend. You're going to want to layer up.
Yeah, and hopefully the layers are on the inside of your costume, because the worst would be to have to cover up in that heavy coat and cover up all your good work, right? This morning, we are still seeing some flurries out there. They were a bit pesky yesterday. Same story today, getting a handful of reports coming in to the newsroom from viewers like you of that snow that is falling. It should not be accumulating anywhere. It's just being, well, just that, pesky for the most part. Let's zoom in over that I-90 corridor from the valley all the way through Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene. Looks like there's a little layer of some snowfall there. And you can also backtrack towards Medical Lake and Cheney. A little bit of a darker blue shade, so maybe just more flurries in that at the moment. If you squint hard enough, you might see a few of those snowflakes on the camera at Coeur d'Alene. Otherwise, it is all very light stuff with current temperatures in the upper 20s.
This morning, Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward is taking an emergency leave of absence.
A spokesperson made the announcement on her behalf yesterday, saying she's taking leave to care for her terminally ill mother. While the mayor is away, interim city administrator Garrett Jones will handle the basic operations of the city. So that means he will handle anything that usually requires a signature from the mayor. City officials say the signature delegation goes through Sunday, but could be extended.
We'll reevaluate over the weekend as to what next steps might have to be taken, but at this point in time, we're going to just give her through the weekend to be able to focus on family.
It's a busy time for the mayor. Not only is the election deadline fast approaching, but her proposed budget is due to the council a week from today. Officials say staff members are finalizing those details. And just into our newsroom this morning, a Kootenai County woman is suing a former Spokane fertility doctor for secretly using his own DNA to inseminate her 34 years ago. Sharon Haynes of Hauser said in a lawsuit she sought fertility care from Dr. David Claypool of Spokane 34 years ago. Hayes was told the DNA belonged to an anonymous donor. The treatments were successful and Hayes gave birth to a daughter who's now 33. But when her daughter took a DNA test for a genealogy website, she learned that Claypool was her biological father. Hayes' daughter also learned that she had 16 half-siblings, all living in our area. For more information on this story, you can head over to our website over at KREM.com. In the meantime, the family of a man shot and killed by a security guard in Meade last month has filed a wrongful death lawsuit.
KREM 2 is not naming the security guard because he has not been officially charged. So the suit claims the guard used excessive force when he shot both the man and his son. John Franklin and his 19-year-old son were riding dirt bikes on federal land near the Bonneville Power Administration in Meade. The security guard chased them down for trespassing. Court documents claim the pair pulled over, but the guard escalated the situation. According to court documents, the guard then threw Franklin to the ground before shooting him and his son. The lawsuit claims Franklin and his son were unarmed. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office says the two were trespassing on federal land and witnesses saw them attack the guard before the shooting. This morning, Brian Kohberger's indictment stands. A judge denied the motion to dismiss.
Kohberger and his defense team were trying to get the grand jury indictment against him thrown out. KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy was inside the courtroom and brings us the latest.
Judge John Judge praised Brian Kohberger's defense team on a creative and informative argument Thursday.
I appreciate the argument. I think it's really creative.
The defense asked the judge to toss out a grand jury indictment because they say a Latah County grand jury was told to find probable cause to indict Kohberger. Attorney Jay Logsdon argues the standard of proof for a grand jury should be beyond a reasonable doubt, even though other Idaho courts have disagreed with that same argument before, according to the judge.
Occasionally, rarely, but occasionally, somebody says, no, that guy's right, and my client walks out of prison. So
that's fine. You can make an argument that something should change, but are you telling me that other places in the state are giving a different instruction that it should be beyond a reasonable doubt?
The state argues the Idaho Supreme Court has already been clear on the issue, that probable cause is the standard. The judge agreed and let Kohberger's attorneys know he'll deny their request to throw out the indictment.
I am constrained by what I believe is settled law in Idaho. I may be wrong, but this is certainly an issue that you would have to bring up with a higher court.
It's important to note that there was also a separate motion to dismiss the indictment from the defense on the grounds that they say there was grand jury bias and some issues with evidence during that proceeding. That hearing was heard early this morning behind closed doors because anything to do with details of the grand jury proceeding are sealed. A ruling on that motion has not yet been made public. In Latah County, Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
This morning, law enforcement agencies are still looking for the suspect of a mass shooting that happened in Lewiston, Maine. The city of Lewiston and other nearby towns have been asked to shelter in place again today. 18 people were killed and 13 injured in the attacks. Robert Card is the name of the main suspect. Authorities say he's charged in connection to Wednesday's deadly shootings. He was recently hospitalized for mental health issues. Now, overnight, family members of those killed continued to mourn, and CBS spoke with some of those victims' families.
Yeah. The crazy part is just being with him just before it happened, 10 minutes before it happened.
It's been devastating, and it's hard because, like I said, you never know what's going to happen next.
It hits home is the biggest thing, and Maine is our home.
Investigators are looking into whether the gunman was searching for his current or ex-girlfriend at the two establishments. This is a developing story, so we will continue gathering the latest information, and we'll bring that to you here on Up with KREM.
Just about 6:08, it's time for your morning rush. More news in less time. Brand new for you this morning, a man is sitting in the Nez Perce County Jail this morning for a shooting a man in Spokane last week. Police say 47-year-old Dumont Witt shot a man outside of a bar on East Sprague Avenue last Friday. The victim survived the shooting. Witt was arrested on Tuesday in Lewiston. He now faces an assault charge here in Washington and several gun charges in Idaho. He is now waiting to be brought back to Spokane. New in the last 12 hours, the West Bonner School Board has officially accepted the resignation of its controversial superintendent. Brandon Durst was only hired last June, but the hiring led to backlash from parents who said he was unqualified because he had no experience in education. The state agreed and blocked him from continuing to serve as superintendent. Joseph Kren has been named the temporary superintendent. New details this morning. Right now, a labor union is trying to repeal Oregon's self-serve gas law. The union claims the new self-serve law is endangering jobs. So Oregonians have been able to pump their own gas since August of this year after the ban put in place in 1951 was lifted. The union has until next July to collect more than 100,000 signatures so the ban would go back on the ballot next November. That is a look at your morning rush.
It's 6:09 on this chilly morning where some of you may be seeing still some snowfall. Nothing more than flurries at the moment, but of course with temperatures below the freezing mark, not surprised to see the clouds try to squeeze out a little bit of light precipitation, be that snowfall. So there's Doppler radar, getting a little bit of some white and blue shades getting picked up on what is considered the reflectivity. It's all just light flurries as it stands, maybe a little bit heavier over Cheney. So flurries this morning, but we might squeeze out a little sunshine this afternoon. The more sun we see, the more likely we could hit 40 degrees for afternoon highs.
Well, brand new for you this morning. Listen up. Tonight, you have a chance to win a free ticket to the upcoming Jonas Brothers concert at the Spokane Arena.
Okay, so
you're listening.
I am listening very closely to this list. So here are all the details. At 2 high school football games, hundreds of free hot chocolates will be given out. So this is a good one. The games are Ridgeline versus Ferris and Rogers versus North Central. At each of those games, one of those hot chocolates that will be given out will have a golden ticket inside their cup sleeve. Take a picture of that ticket, send it to One Spokane Stadium, and you can win 2 free tickets to the Jonas Brothers concert. Now, Ridgeline plays Ferris at 5 p.m., then Rogers faces off against North Central at 7:30 p.m. Both of those games are at the One Spokane Stadium, but the Jonas Brothers concert, well, they hit the Spokane Arena on November 7th.